What's up? So you just saw that I squatted 507. I did a single and then a pause single, and then I did a full speed kind of competition style single. And the reason that I did that, counter to what you've heard me say in previous videos, that I was going to stick between the 300 and 400 pound range. I did this because I'm a power lifter. I am doing a push pull at Tattooed and Strong, and I'm focusing primarily on building my deadlift for my legs, but I've never done this endeavor without squatting to my potential. So do I need a 700 pound squat right now? Do I need an 800 pound squat right now? No, but I have to be working towards my potential. If that's 500 pounds, that's where I need to work towards. If it's 550, that's where I need to work towards. Because as I'm progressing with my squat, I'm doing so systematically. It's not like I'm going in there and just throwing weights on. I did the 500 because weights I've done in recent weeks have indicated that 500 was possible. I'm no longer in the realm of thinking that I'm just going to put a weight on there and go after it and see what happens. It has to be systematic. It has to be mathematic, and I have to understand why I'm doing it. So for me, it's a mentality. I'm an all or nothing guy. I'm an all in kind of person. And honestly, I felt like I was selling out by not squatting to my potential. So there will be days that I'm squatting 300 and 400 pounds, yes. But as my heavy days roll around, you're going to see me getting heavier and heavier. Now, that being said, I don't need to go for a single. I don't need to be doing anything more than doubles or triples at this point. I'm still trying to build the squat back. I'm still trying to build power in the legs, muscularity back in the legs, and also confidence. So the squat is still being built, but I'm also building it in a different way. I'm not just going about it safely, I guess you could say. I'm not trying to pull the hinges back a little. I likened it to building a race car and then running it around the course at pace car speed. Sometimes you have to let the car go to see what it can do, and that's what I'm doing with myself, because I've always felt that my biggest deadlift compliments were the squat and the leg press. The squat because of overall body power, drive and speed with the legs, and then the leg press because that's how I kind of envision myself doing a deadlift, being bunched up or balled up and then pushing away from the floor. So I use those two movements to really enhance my deadlift. And moving forward in the next 8 weeks, what you're going to see from me, at least, is you're going to see an acceleration in my squat training. Not that I'm going to go from 500 to 700 in 8 weeks, but you're probably going to see 500 become, hopefully, what is a rep set, 500 for 3 to 5 repetitions or something in the next 8 weeks, meaning that I can probably do a little over 600 or so comfortably at that time. 100-pound gains on my squat is going to do a lot for my deadlift because it's just confidence in the legs. It's confidence in that pushing force, that driving force off of the ground. And I think for me, that's really, really important. Now, I made a post on Instagram a few days ago showing my supplementation list, and it's extensive. And part of that being because I'm no longer trying to approach the sport as I used to. I'm no longer trying to be this guy that just takes anything and everything because the internet said it's good or because some other guy at the gym said it was good. I'm trying to understand my body. I'm trying to understand hormones. I'm trying to understand different body processes and things like that. Working with a hormone doctor has been the most beneficial thing ever, because in previous efforts to be the best, I wrecked my body. I wrecked my hormone counts. I was pretty much a train wreck. And everyone keeps talking about these massive doses, and I can tell you they're real. They're out there. People are doing them. But that being said, maybe the question needs to be asked, are you doing that because you're too lazy to do everything else? And for me, it wasn't that I was lazy, it was that I was unaware. But once you become aware of how beneficial everything else can be, then it is laziness. For me, when I figured out how important hydration, nutrition, recovery, all these things, intertwined with my training, then I realized how important, you know, or how far off I was from doing all the important things correctly. So when you look at this supplementation list, yeah, there's a lot of things there. A lot of those things are in place to repair organ damage or to prevent organ damage, heart care, prostate care, general wellness stuff. And then the core of my weightlifting, powerlifting supplements revolve around protein, creatine, BCAAs, and then I take a joint fuel because I have bad joints. Specifically the knee. Everything else feels pretty damn good, and I'm pretty lucky. You know, even my knee doesn't feel awful. It just has days. So I take the joint fuel, and I do believe that's a huge contributing factor to why my joints still feel good because of that stuff, and that's from NFP. And then I take a multivitamin that is kind of tailored towards weightlifting, powerlifting. I take fish oil, extra vitamin C for immunity. But yeah, if you look at my Instagram, you'll see all the things that I'm taking, and it's just to be a healthy guy. That is the goal of this endeavor for me moving forward. I absolutely 100% believe I can be better than I ever was by a number. I'm definitely better than I was now as a human being, because before, when I fell, all I cared about was my total. I didn't care about anything, anyone else. I was very selfish. I was very conceited. Not that, I mean, as a top athlete, you have to have some of that at all times. And like, as I'm getting closer to the competition, I'm feeling that selfishness or that awareness of competition growing on me. So that doesn't mean I have to be an asshole 24 hours a day. That doesn't mean I have to take that out on, the guy at Walmart. It's not his fault that I had a bad training day or whatever. So I'm trying to limit my aggression, my selfishness, so on, to the gym. I try to put it all in there. Try to be a good person the rest of the day. I mean, let's be honest. It's not that hard. And people who fall into this lapse of excuses of doing less and less, like, well, I'm close to a meet, so, I can't get off the couch. Well, I'm trying to do more as I get closer to the meet. I'm trying to become athletic. I'm trying to become stronger. I'm trying to become a better person. It's all about a journey for me. That's why I called this the journey for strength. And, but that being said, I was a guy who would do, like I said, anything and everything if you told me it would make me stronger. And now I'm on a TRT, a testosterone replacement therapy dose. And I'm doing everything nutritionally that Paul George is having me do. I just took a photograph this morning, and it was one of those times where I really haven't allowed myself to kind of look at myself in the mirror in the last little bit. And when I took the photograph that I'm going to send to Paul and Tanya for an update, it was the first one that I'm going to send that I'm actually starting to feel good about myself again, in the physical. In a lot of other ways, I feel better than ever. But I started training to feel better about myself physically as well. I wanted to look better. I wanted to look the part. And that's always been something that I've held to, is that I never wanted to be a guy that people thought was just a fat guy. I wanted to be a guy, and I have been that guy. I've gotten to that point where I was, well, he's strong, but he's also a fat ass. That's not a good feeling. So I want to get back to the point where I look like an athlete. I feel like an athlete. And someone asked me what my goal weight was. At Capo, when I hit my best total, I weighed in at 309. Talk about somebody that doesn't care about weight classes. I could have took a piss and weighed 308, but I weighed 309 and I hit my best total ever. So it was classified as a super heavyweight. And I believe now, with the way that I'm eating, the way that I'm recovering, the way that I'm sleeping, and so on, I think within the next year and a half from now, I can surpass that total at a lesser body weight. I'm saying maybe 300 pounds. And then eventually I could see myself getting down to 290 as kind of a maintenance weight, and then possibly dieting down to 275 for a competition or two, just to give myself a new challenge, or bulking up to around 300 for a competition. So I think for the next few years as a beginning exit strategy. I think 290 is a good goal weight for me, or 285 even. Much healthier than the 348 that I was when this all started. So I was 319.2 this morning. I'm under 320 pounds for the first time in 3 years. And geez, it's 30 pounds, but I feel so much better already. Just moving around, I can't say enough good things about just getting in shape. And I mean, yeah, it's pounds on the bar and it's a total, and I know that it's fallen on deaf ears, because if you'd have told me this shit 3 years ago before I fell, I would have just thought you were a pussy. And that's the way I viewed it. I would have viewed myself now as a pussy. But you know what? I can still squat over 500 pounds. I can still pull over 700 pounds. I can still bench in the 500s right now. I mean, even basically undertrained. And I've got my life. I've got my life back. I've got friends back. I've got family back. And yeah, that's worth more than any total to me. But when I get the total, this time it'll be a lot better. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, comment, ask questions. I promise to do a better job of getting these out every single day. I just wanted to experiment a little bit in the gym without having to worry about explaining myself until I started doing what I was doing and feeling a little bit more confident about it. So I don't want to share information and then always be backtracking on it. So thank you guys, and I will see you tomorrow. Thanks.